So hello again, everyone. My name is Tolga. I'm the managing partner of H3M Analytics, and we are a software company building artificial intelligence-based compliance solutions. So today, after I speak a little bit about H3M Analytics and the AML solutions, I just wanted to highlight a couple of different things for you. Initially, I wanted to highlight three things because that's why I left this three ways to accuracy and speed. But I want you to just have an idea on four different things that you can do to improve the speed and the accuracy of your compliance organization at the end of this deck. So we started H3M in 2018 with two other partners, with Utku and Yashar, who's leading the AI part and the software development part. And our focus is on a technology called active learning, which is about AI asking questions to learn. So the whole motto that we have in H3M is to combine the compliance know-how that you have, your teams have, with the capabilities of the artificial intelligence and up-and-coming, generative AI. So our headquarters are here in Montreal. We do have locations in Istanbul, Turkey, and New York City as well. And for all the other regions, we have partners and distributors around the globe. We mostly work with banks and financial institutions in helping their AML sanctions and KYC solutions. Now, I don't need to explain the overall problem to you, but I just summarize the issue as much ado about nothing about the current systems, because there's a huge amount of work in compliance, detecting crime, and we can detect so little. So as the good guys team, we are doing horribly, and our aim as a company is to do things in a more effective way. And it is getting more important, as initially mentioned in this webinar. So FinTrack is also focusing on speed and accuracy. So we have to look where we can do that. So as I mentioned, we'll check four different things. And at the end of the day, what we are focusing is just two dimensions. Whatever technology you utilize, how much does technology decrease our workload, and how much does it increase our detection rate? So as H3M, we do believe we're providing a good compromise offering from both angles. Now, we see the stages of effectiveness in an AML system, starting from scenarios, rules, and regions to data science models, network analysis, and finally the Zen stage, which I will explain. But again, I just want to focus on four things in this slide. Then we'll move to the demo to explain clearer those four things. The first thing is the huge number of alerts that you are getting from scenario-based analysis. But it's as expected, like all scenario-based systems in anywhere, in any institution, generate a lot of false positives. And the main reason being is that even if you receive an alert from a specific scenario, what you do is you are actually checking everything about that client before you file an STR to FinTrack. So what if, in order to generate an alert, we also checked everything about that client? So the first thing that we did is a module called Suspect Miner. And instead of generating scenarios with a couple of features, one scenario just looking in account increases, one scenario just looking in ATM operations, these models check everything about the client, transactions, CRM features, etc. And by trying to model your past decisions, they provide a probability of suspiciousness for every single client every day. So since they are trained based on your previous decisions, it will most likely give you a result which is very close to your decision. Hence, it will decrease significantly in most of the cases, about 70%, your alert numbers, which will save you a lot of time where you can focus on more important stuff. So that's the first thing. The second thing is this: by using active learning technology. Now, as I mentioned, you are tuning your system with past decisions, but in the past, you have given about one decision for about every 20,000 transactions. So there's not enough to find out what's going out there other than those typologies. So we use the active learning technology to identify by checking the whole transaction and customer space and identifying anomalies. The second thing that we do is we identify suspicious high impact clients which do not generate alerts with traditional systems. And with those, we have last year generated 40,000 suspicious case alerts, and 98.4% of them were reported to financial intelligence units. Third thing is network analysis. So once you identify the client, now money laundering is a network operation. Unless you are looking at a whole network, you cannot detect the whole crime, even if you have the best machine learning models and best scenarios. So what we did was we built another module called Link Miner, which converts initially your whole transaction space into a graph network where each of these nodes are either your clients or people who they sent or received money from. Then next step is we connect them. How are they connected? Either via transactions or by having same CRM values, like they can be the same company shareholder in the same company, director of the same company. So we have connected them. Next, we have a very fast algorithm running in less than 45 minutes for 10 million customers and about 1 billion connections. So the suspiciousness propagates in between them. Next step, with this propagation, we identify subnetworks. So this is a complicated one, for example. This is an illegal gambling network where the outermost ring collects the money, then moves 3 rings in between. And in the center, there was this company which was originally or supposed to be a shoe manufacturing company. But what we have identified is, they are just creating fake invoices and gathering money from the bets, illegal gambling bets around. And the head of compliance said, when we use this tool, instead of shooting the mosquitoes, we are now drying out the whole swarm. So by using this kind of network analysis, you can very quickly identify the subnetworks without going into this picture, because what it does is, out of this whole transaction network, it carves out the suspicious money flow. Now, last thing is, once you have identified those, we have a free compliance search engine. So when you are doing your final investigations about a specific client, don't Google them. So this is a free search engine. You can go ahead and use it, just today, and it searches just related information that a compliance officer would look. So you can do many different things with it. Now, next, I'll have a quick demo, and during this demo, I'll try to highlight some of the things that I have mentioned. So this is the Rumi search engine that's going from last to the beginning, covering those 4 cases. You can search, recent happenings, like you can search for Binance and see, what's important news about them. You can search a specific topic like AI in AML, and it will give you resources related to AML. Or you can search a certain entity, because it's also checking the sanctions lists and all those government lists about different entities, as well as adverse media. Or you can search also a Bitcoin wallet. It's searching the sanctions or high-risk wallets as well. So you can do many things with it. So this is the 4th part. So going back, the first thing, this is the main screen of the Croton software platform. So here, there are multiple things that you can do, but you can start by building your own machine learning model. And we built the system such that, you don't have to be a data scientist to use it. You can input your existing softwares or Excel rules and previous decisions that you made in the past. And you can adjust, what is suspicious to you, what is clear to you in your network. And you can adjust it based on your risk tolerance. And to the system, you can add any CRM feature that you have in the system to the machine learning model. And we also have a very flexible tool for adding any kind of transaction features, like any transactions, any directions, multiple channels that you have, all different kinds of statistical features that you may add, different currencies. You can limit the transactions by locations, and you can limit the transactions by time. And you can have core features by selecting those. You can say that, for example, I want the total of those kind of transactions in one last month, or comparison of last month to last 6 months, or comparison of, let's say, these kind of transactions to the total amount they have on their account on a daily basis. So once I add all these maybe 100 features, then you build a model which tries to mimic your past decisions based on those features. And there are also multiple ways to use it. So the first one is when you run this model, you'll check from the task manager if it's finished or not. And then next thing you can do here is that you schedule it. So once you have a machine learning model or a scenario that you have added, you can just schedule it as if you're scheduling a recurring meeting. For example, you can select your scenario and you want to set it like, I want this miner or scenario to run every Sunday at midnight. So it will just run the machine learning model and will create the results at that given instant. Now, once you run it, you'll see a list going here with all different scores. You can assign it to a specific analyst. You can update the status. You can link it to an existing case. You can create a new case about that alert. And it also gives you estimations about what kind of typologies is expected from that alert and what is the overall risk score of that alert. And you can update the status as well. Now, this is for identifying high-risk ones first. So we've shown you how to use the Rumi search engine, how to use the machine learning model to focus on the high-risk ones. Now, you can use the machine learning model on your existing alerts, which we call the backlog miner. So you select your model, and let's say from any tool that you have, you generated alerts from the scenario-based systems and between two dates. So you select those days and run them with the model, machine learning model, and it ranks all of your alerts. And it tells you that, look, these are the top alerts that you should focus on. They are over 88% suspicious. And these are the typologies: tax evasion, illegal gambling, etc. The second group is the gray area. Then when you have time, check them. And the last group is the ones that you can you can suppress those alerts. So they are very likely false positives, so you don't have to deal with them. Now, the last thing that you can do is with the network analysis. So once you have those, you can select, again, your inputs from either scenario-based systems or your machine learning outputs. And this time, you'll say that, for example, in my network, I don't want huge nodes which are connected to over 100,000 cases. In order to make it transactions, they should at least make 2 transactions, or 1% of all of their transactions should be in between them. And you can also make links with CRM values. For example, I want partners, or I want the family members, people living in the same address, to be linked as well. So after you link those things, you get this network, which the red dots are the ones that you already detect as suspicious. And you can go over to the link to see, what's the transaction amount in between those entities. You can export it to an Excel to view the more details about the network. And there are 3 options. You can see the top suspicious networks in your financial institution, or you can also look into a specific client. Now, one last thing I'll just say before closing is all those 4 things can come together. In a study that we did with Western Union, what they did was they first used the suspect miner to identify suspicious money transfers, then used the network analysis to see the whole space of money transfer. Then they used Rumi, actually, to find out that some of those companies are actually shell companies. So they identify the whole money transfer structure globally going around the shell company, which they reported afterwards. So in those 4 aspects, we are here to help you save time and find more high impact suspicious activity. Thank you very much for listening.
Thanks so much, Tolga. That was great. And there's a question that I do want to ask you that's in the chat, but just from my perspective as well, I've seen so many organizations go in a bit of a state of being overwhelmed by their backlog when it comes to transactions, and the fact that this tool can help prioritize. I think that's great. A question that we have is, can you talk about and perhaps share examples, Tolga, as to how the Rumi search engine is different or unique from simply using GPT-4 or Bard, are the 2 platforms that have been shared by Henry as a question. So can you share some examples as to how would a search through Rumi, how would that be different?
Now, the first thing is, of course, GPT-4 is not a search engine. You can integrate Bard with the Google search engine and Bing with GPT-4. But the main difference is that the Rumi search engine first only checks compliance-related resources on the web. It doesn't check anything else. It doesn't have ads, or it's not looking at anything irrelevant. And there's an algorithm on top of that, which is ranking the scores based on the a priori knowledge that the one who is making the search is a compliance analyst. So it is ranking the results in a different way in order to get top results more relevant to you.
Excellent, thank you. Any other questions from Tolga? We do have about 90 seconds to go. Any additional questions? Or Tolga, while we wait for them, anything else you want to share? Because I know the timer went off and you rushed on our account. Anything else you want to share with our viewers today?
No, actually, I was just on time. I finished the presentation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Question from Donna. Is there an example of how you layered your tools for a client?
Yeah, typically, the first thing that we implement is the backlog miner, because before investigating high impact suspicious activity, more suspicious activity, they need time to reduce their efforts on false positives and unrelated alerts. So once we implement that, let's say we reduce the workload by 60%, 70%, and then we utilize that remaining time so that they can investigate existing cases in more detail with Link Miner and with Rumi, and also generate some more suspicious activity which have high impact and cannot be detected with scenarios, so that they have a much better use of their time and their expertise.
Perfect. Thank you.